Hello everybody, I'm back and I'm playing a game. It's called Slay the Spire. It's interesting. I got it recently-ish, and I also recently-ish decided to start recording videos again, so I'm gonna do this one. I already tried recording it before, but it didn't work, so anyway, I'm just gonna get into it straight away. I'm gonna play as this character because it's the one I like the most. Right, so to begin with, ignore the big whale, okay? I'll get into him later. Essentially, this is the quote-unquote level select screen, but this is where you choose which room you want to go to in order to make your way up the spire to the top, which has a big old boss, a big scary boss. You'll see on the side here a legend of all the different types of rooms. You can see at the bottom the only choices we have are enemies. Pretty sure that's always going to be the same. Pretty sure it's always an enemy to begin with. But all of this is randomly generated, so it'll always be different. So you basically have to choose which way you want to go, which will give you the best stuff. For instance, I like to go where there's a lot of question marks, because it's less likely that there's going to be enemies there. And I don't like fighting enemies, because it takes my health down, and I don't like my health going down. You can see my health's there at the corner. You also have gold. I like gold. Gold's nice. There's also a run timer, which shows how long your run's been going. I don't particularly care about that, unless there's like an achievement for like a speedrun or whatever. But I'm not achievement hunting right now. I'm just playing the game. You can also see up here is the map, which is where I currently am. This is the settings where you can do all sorts of stuff, like save. You can just exit in the middle of a run. This is a roguelike, by the way, so you'll be doing a lot of runs, probably. And you can also abandon the run partway through if your life's going a bit shit. Also up here is your deck, because as you may or may not know, this game works using cards. Basically, I'll show you when we get into combat, but it works on cards. You also have potions up here, which you can use. I'll get into some of the other stuff later. Anyway, back to the legend. You have all these kinds of rooms. You have enemies, which are just regular enemies, they're boring. You have elites, which are powerful enemies, and they give you an extra reward at the end. You have rest sites, where you can heal or upgrade cards, and yes, you can upgrade your cards if you want better cards. But you can only do that once for each card, so choose your upgrades wisely. Also, you can only heal or upgrade, you can't do both. So if you got low health, you're not going to want to upgrade, you're going to want to heal. You also get treasure rooms. You can get cool stuff from there. You get merchants, which is where you spend your gold, and you can get more stuff like cards from there. And then you get unknown rooms where anything can happen. It could be an enemy encounter, could be a merchant. I don't think it can be a rest site. It can be treasure, or it can be something completely different and weird. So anyway, with that out of the way, I think I'm gonna go up this way. Looks easiest. So anyway, here's the combat. We got this dancing guy on the right. You can see up the top here, he has an intent. So what he intends to do is use a strategy, or he's being strategic, which means he's gonna use a buff on himself to make himself stronger. I already know what that buff's gonna be, because this guy always does the same fucking buff and it's annoying. But of course, because he's not attacking, I don't need to use any defend cards now. Of course, as you can see, we have on the left here a draw pile, and on the right a discard pile. You start with your draw pile filled with all your cards, and then you draw 5, but I've got this thing up here. It's a relic, it's real nice. This character starts with it as default, and you draw 2 additional cards at the start of combat. So of course, you have a turn, then your enemy has a turn, and then it keeps going on like that. But on my first turn I have 2 extra cards, on the rest of the turns I just gain 5 cards. But yeah, that's how it works. As you play cards, they go into your discard pile, and when you end your turn, all of the cards in your hands go into your discard pile, so you can't keep them for next turn. You can see right here, you also have energy. You only have 3 energy per turn. You can like get things like different relics that give you more energy, but of course I don't have any. But you can also see on the cards, all of these just cost 1 to use, so each card costs 1 energy. As I was saying, these give you defense, so this would give me 5 blocks. So essentially, if this guy was doing, say, 6 damage, this would block 5 of it, and then I would only take 1 damage to my HP, which is down there, or up there. This card is a little bit special, because you gain slightly more block, but you discard another card, which, you know, may not make a difference, but basically you can leave that as your last card that you play, and, you know, it won't really affect you. Also, you can play it when it's the only card in your hand, and it won't actually discard a card, so that's kinda useful. But anyway, because he's not attacking, I'll just use a bunch of strikes. They do 6 damage each, and now he's almost down to half health. So now it's his turn. He's going to use something called incantation. He's going to shout something real loud. And now he's got Ritual. That's his buff. And at the end of its turn, it gains 3 strength. Now what strength does is it basically adds to your attack damage. So this guy's basic attack, which I think is basically the only thing he's ever going to do from now on, is 6. But if he has 3 strength, he's going to do 9, because 6 plus 3. And then the turn after that, he'll have 6 strength, and then 9 strength, and it'll keep going on until he's dead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this new card, which is free, called Neutralize, which does 3 damage, not that much, but it applies 1 weak. Now what weak does is his attacks deal 25% less damage for 1 turn, and the 1 is down there because I've applied 1 weak. If I get other cards that also do weak, it can stack up, so it might be weakened for 3 turns. That doesn't mean it's always going to do 25% less damage, unlike with strength, which does more and more damage. It's always going to be the same percentage, it's just going to be for longer. Strength, on the other hand, is there for the entire battle, so I can't really counter that unless I get damage that gets rid of, unless I get a card rather, that gets rid of strength, which I've never encountered before, so I don't think there are any such cards. But anyway, because he's only doing 4 damage, I'm going to defend, that gives me 5 blocks, so I'll have 1 block left over, and then I'm going to strike him for the rest. You'll see though at the end of his turn, what happens to block, he hits me for 4, 1 block left, but then the block disappears. You only get block for 1 turn, unless you have some special little buffs, which I don't have, but maybe I'll get one in the future. Again, I'm going to neutralize him because it's free. He's going to do 6 damage. Because these only do 5, I'm going to take this for 8. I'm going to get rid of the defend, because I don't need to defend anymore. And I'll just use my remaining energy to strike him, and he would have died anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But anyway, as you can see, at the end of each battle you get some rewards. You get some gold, which is I think random for each enemy. You probably get more for elites. I don't really pay attention, I just grab the gold and get out. But at the same time, you always get a new card for the end of each encounter. Now here we've got 3 cards. One is Deflect, costs 0, useful, but it only does 4 block. And at the same time you'll come to realize that they can sort of take up space in your hand. So where you might want a different card to be there, this is there instead. It's kind of useless in some situations, for instance when nothing's attacking you, so you don't want it to be there, and it just means you didn't get another card which might have been the one you wanted. So I'm not going to take that because I can already see another card here that I do want. Next card is Well Laid Plans. At the end of your turn, retain up to 1 card. So as I said earlier, you lose all your cards at the end of the encounter. They go into your discard pile. But if you use this, you can keep 1 of them. However, right now I don't have any cards that I particularly want to like keep over, except for maybe Survivor. But that's not too useful because it's just 1 card. So I'm going to take Caltrops, which is very useful because it means whenever you're attacked, you deal 3 damage to the attacker. It gives you a buff called Thorns, which, as it says, when an enemy attacks you, it takes 3 damage. It is very useful, especially for enemies which, as you'll see, they sometimes do multiple attacks in 1 turn. You'll see the intent, it'll say a number times another number, and the first number is how much damage each attack's going to do, the second number is how many times it's going to attack. So if it's 1 times 5, which sometimes enemies do, that means they're going to take 15 damage and you're going to take 5. And literally 1 defend card is going to negate that. So Caltrops, very useful sometimes. Now straight away we have a shop which we can go to. We can introduce this mechanic. You have the shopkeeper here. He's very cheery, he has a nice little mask on. And you can see he has all these different wares to sell to you. You'll also notice there's a card removal service. Occasionally, you'll get cards that you don't want. Most of the times these are curses, which are essentially like unplayable cards which take up your hand and sometimes even do other bad stuff to you. At the same time, you may have accidentally picked up a card that you don't quite like that much anymore, and you might want to get rid of it anyway. And you might like it so little that you're actually willing to spend 75 of your gold to get rid of it. Unlikely, but still possible. Now from what I see here, with this character I like to go for poison stuff. So I'm already noticing these 2 over here, both of which are very useful, especially this one. Because what it does is at the start, well, basically I think, well, yeah, when you play this, it gives you a buff which means at the start of each turn, you apply 2 poison to all enemies. So from each turn after playing this card, enemies will take 2 poison at the start of your turn. So I'm going to get that anyway because I know I'm going to get that. I'm also going to get Deadly Poison because it's on sale. Occasionally items are on sale. You can see the price is blue here. It's only 23, so I'm going to get it. But anyways, I was saying earlier, I'm going to explain a little bit more about how cards work. As you may have noticed, not all the cards look the same. Not just the actual picture, but they also have a sort of different shape to them. You can see this little border around here, because this is an attack card, it's more angled. The power cards are more circular and the skill cards are more square. That doesn't really matter, you know, what shape the cards are, but it shows that attacks are different from skills, and skills and attacks are different from powers. They're all sort of different types of cards. Now, what skills do is essentially they're just a card that doesn't apply damage to an enemy. That's how they decide whether it's a skill card or not. So all cards that apply damage to an enemy by playing them are attack cards. Even this neutralize, whilst it does do like a buff or something like that, it's still an attack because it deals damage. This is a skill because it doesn't do any damage. Powers, however, are quite different from the rest because when you play them, they don't go into your discard pile, they just disappear for the rest of that encounter. And then it applies the buff, so it means you basically can't keep playing the Caltrops again and again and again and have like 15 damage each time they hit you, because that would be a bit unfair. So essentially what they do is they exhaust, which is something that you'll see on some of the other cards as well, which is this game's way of saying that when you play them, they disappear for the rest of that encounter. So powers always exhaust, which is why it doesn't actually say that they exhaust on the actual description. But I'll come across other cards that do have that description, and I'll talk about them a bit later. Anyway, for now, I'll just proceed to this enemy right here. You can see with this enemy, they already have a buff to begin with called Curl Up. Both of these have different levels of Curl Up, and it's sort of randomly generated-ish between which ones they are. But you'll see that on taking attack damage, it rolls up and gains 6 block, and once it's done that once, it can't do it anymore. So basically if I attacked him, he'd roll up, gain 6 block automatically, but he'd still be able to attack me. But after that is gone, the next time I hit him, he won't be able to do it, because as it says, once per combat. But anyway, I think I'm just going to defend twice, because then they're only going to do 4 damage rather than 14. And I'll put down Caltrops. And basically what that'll do is, of course, as you can guess, he'll take 3 damage, he'll take 3 damage, and I'll take 4. And now, this is something I don't think we've seen before, he's going to be strategic as well, but instead of doing a buff to himself, he's going to apply a debuff to me. So that's what this sort of green swirl means. Occasionally there'll be a purple swirl, which means it's a really scary debuff, so it's going to really badly affect me, but of course not now. He's just going to do a regular debuff. And this guy is probably going to apply strength to himself, whatever. So I'm just going to attack them, and I'll use this because I don't need to defend, and then I'll end the turn. So what he's done is he's applied weakness to me, and of course we already know what weakness does, we already know what strength does, no need for an explanation there. I'm going to apply weakness to this guy, because now he's going to do 7. I can block all of that guy's damage. Oh. Actually no, I can kill that guy because he has 2 poisons, so he'll die anyway at the start of his turn. You'll notice that at the beginning of the enemy's turn, poison damage is done first, then the other stuff. I think after poison damage, they then apply any debuffs or buffs, and then finally they attack. So that's a sort of order of things. Now, we have our first potion. This is a fairly easy to describe potion. It deals 20 damage, that's it. Now we're going to add a new card. I'm going to get Heal Hook because I like applying weak, and this says if the enemy is weak, you gain energy and a card. So essentially, it's just 5 damage without taking up a space in your hand, without using your energy, as long as the enemy you use it on is weak. Which is why I very much like that. So now we have 2 choices. And I kinda, at some point here, want to go through an elite because I want to show them off, and at the same time I want to actually get a relic at some point. Now I could do that basically straight away, or I could sort of go the more easy path, which has a lot of rest sites, so I can show upgrading cards as well. And I haven't upgraded any cards yet, although we're only on the 3rd level, because I've done a bit too much talking, I think. I'll just go this way. So as you can see here, we found our first actual random weird event. Get ready for my excellent reading skills. As you make your way down a long corridor, you see a banana, a donut, and a box floating about. Now, upon closer inspection, they are tied to strings coming from holes in the ceiling. There's a quiet cackling from above as you approach the objects. What do you do? Now, of course, we can either banana, we can donut, or we can box. And as you'll see, the banana heals 23 HP. Kinda useless, don't really care. The donut gives us plus 5 max HP, which is actually quite useful despite only being 5, because as you can see I only have 70 max HP, which is, it's less than the other character. The other character starts with 80, and more HP is very useful. However, at the bottom here, you can see we can also receive a relic. It's a random relic. It'll be a sort of low-level relic, or, well, it won't be like a boss-level relic, which are, as you could probably guess, they're relics you get from defeating the boss. But you also get cursed. I talked about curses earlier. It means you basically gain a card which you can randomly draw in combat, and not only is it unplayable, as you can see, which takes up space in your hand, but at the end of your turn you lose 1 HP for each card that is still in your hand. So if you run out of energy and still have a bunch of cards in your hand, you'll take 1 HP for each of them, including this card itself. So unless you manage to discard it using Survivor or something, you're always going to take at least 1 HP damage, which isn't too great, but I normally don't really mind all that much about having curses because I can just remove them at a shot, not too difficultly, as long as I have the gold. But I think for now, because there's a chest ahead, and because I'm going to be going to an elite at some point, I'll just take the donut. 5 HP, very nice. You eat the donut, it really hits the spot. Your max HP increases. So anyway, on to the next room. We have just a regular enemy here again. And this guy is a jaw worm. I hate this guy, he's an asshole. I'm going to neutralize him so he can only do 8 damage. Do Survivor, get rid of that defend. Wham bam, I'm not going to take any damage. He's already weakened, so I can use the heal hook and get a defend, which is mildly useless. But I can use Noxious Fumes and apply poison to him for free. Well, no, not for free, but without having to compromise and not use other cards that I want to, because I didn't want to use any of the other cards. Right now you can see what he's going to do here is he's going to defend. As you can see, there's a little shield icon behind all that spooky fire, but at the same time what that fire indicates, as well as that sort of blue fire effect around it, it shows he's also going to apply a buff to himself. So he's not only going to defend, but he's also going to gain strength. I know he's going to gain strength because I've fought this guy like a bunch. But seeing as he's not going to attack, I'm just going to hit him with my strikes a couple of times. As you'll notice, despite the fact that he's going to defend for next turn, that greenness is still there over his health because poison damage ignores block, although actually technically the block goes away before the start of his turn anyway, I think, so you know, doesn't really matter. Anyway, yeah, so he's gonna do 14 damage to me, which I can only defend from 5 of, so I think I'm gonna have to come up with a different option. And as you can see here, I can do 18 damage, which is more than his health and his block combined, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. And even right now, he would die at the start of his turn anyway because he has 6 poison but 2 health. Something I haven't explained yet though, poison. The way poison works is, say you apply 6 poison. At the start of his turn, he'll take 6 poison damage. The poison will then go down by 1. The next turn, he will take 5 poison damage, and the poison will go down by 1. As it says there. So essentially, in total, he would take 6 plus 5 plus 4, etc. damage, but it would be over a number of turns. So that's how poison works. It's very useful. So it's normally better than just doing a regular attack damage, because as you can see, it does 4 poison. This does 6 damage, but the actual poison will end up doing 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1, which is like 9? Maybe? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to strike him now anyway, because I may as well, and now I've gained 13 gold, a regen bonus, a regen potion, which looks a bit like an angular penis. Anyway, that basically does 3 HP at the end of each turn for 3 turns. It's very useful, because one of the few ways to regain health. But I like to save it for when I have not very much health, and I'm in a battle that I know is going to take a while, at least 5 turns. And I'll add a card to my deck. Now here we have Envenom, which is a card I very much like. It's also a power, and whenever attack deals unblocked damage, it's fairly obvious. It means if I hit him and it actually does damage to his health past his block, it'll apply 1 poison. I mean, I can't help noticing the wording of that would technically include attacks done by anyone, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't affect the attacks by an enemy, so that's good. I'm tempted to take this, but it costs 2 energy for each use. You can upgrade it, and this card's upgrade is it only takes 1 energy, but you also have dodge and roll, which is not that useful. I don't really like getting it. It is useful in the fact that you can play it on a turn where the enemy isn't attacking, and the next turn you'll gain 4 block for basically free. But yeah, it's only 4 block, it's not that much. This one is a slice, it deals 5 damage, but it's free to use. I don't know, I think I'm gonna get Envenom, and I'll just upgrade it as soon as I can. And speaking of which, here we are at our first fireplace. I've got 71 health, which is more than I started with, so I don't think I'll bother resting. I don't normally like to rest unless I'm below 50 health with this character, so... Or, you know, if I'm right next to the boss battle, but I think I can do the boss battle in about 50 health, so... Anyway, so I'll start by just going to Smith. And you can see all the cards here that I can smith. Once they are upgraded, they don't show up here, so it doesn't get confusing. But I'm gonna begin, as you can see here, as I said, it decreases the energy by 1 by upgrading it. And you can basically view what all the upgrades do before you actually choose to upgrade them. But what I'm gonna do, because I always do it, is upgrade Neutralize, which means it applies 2 weak. So, say if I get this on a turn when an enemy isn't actually attacking, it means if it attacks the next turn, it'll still be weakened. Which is quite useful, because of course it doesn't cost anything. And also it does damage by itself anyway. So now we'll go on to the next room, which is a question mark room, and it's a shop, yay! I can spend my 43 gold on nothing that I want. Outmaneuver's okay, I guess, but never really liked it that much. I guess I'll get it, because I may as well try it out, because I've never actually had it before. And here we are again, at another rest spot, so I think now, because I was talking about it, well... Ooh, this is very useful, it gets 3 instead of 2, but anyway. I think I'll upgrade Envenom, because, again, yeah, as I said, I was talking about before, and it's very useful to have it only 1 energy. And now we have our first chest, yay! This is a very nice looking chest. You can get all kinds of different looking chests, and I think depending on the chest it also changes what's inside it, so you can get small crappy chests which are just like a relic and nothing else. You can get very nice looking chests like this which is a relic and a bunch of gold. War Paint is our first relic. What this relic does is, upon picking the relic up, it upgrades 2 random skills. Okay, it's decided defend and outmaneuver, so didn't need to upgrade and outmaneuver after all. Right, so that's the chest room over with. We've only got 1 way to go, so let's go. You walk into a room to find a large hole in the ground. As you approach the hole, an enormous serpent creature appears from within. Ho ho! Hello, hello! What have we got here? Hello, adventurer. I ask a simple question. The most fulfilling of lives is that in which you can buy anything. Do you agree? Now, of course, if we agree, we can get 175 gold, which would be very useful. Although, we haven't got any more merchants along the way. But at the same time, we get cursed with doubt, which is, again, unplayable, and at the end of your turn, you gain 1 week, which basically means, well, I assume you know what that means. We don't have any curses yet. I wouldn't mind having 1 curse, and I also wouldn't mind having 175 gold. So I think I'll just go ahead and take that. Yes, this will be all worth it. That was rather creepy. The serpent rears his head and blasts a stream of gold upwards. It is amazing and terrifying simultaneously. You gather all the gold, thank the snake, and get going. So of course you'll notice that most of the encounters which would end up with you getting a curse tend to make sense. So of course I got doubt because I said something which was rather doubtful, which was, oh yeah, sure, a world in which you can buy anything is great, yeah. Debatable. I'll go towards this elite, because elites on floor 1 are considerably easier to deal with than on floor 2, and yes, there's a floor 1 and a floor 2 and a floor 3, etc. Although I don't know if there's past floor 3, because I've never gotten past floor 3, because it's really hard. But anyway, I'll do this elite to show it off. And right here we've got these assholes. Now what they have, to begin with, one of the many things that they have, is they have something called Artifact, which negates 1 debuff, so I'll use it straight away so I can get rid of that easily. Basically what it does is, if you, say, applied weak to one of them, instead of them getting weak, this would just go down by 1 and they wouldn't have Artifact anymore. Which isn't so annoying when they only have 1 artifact, but you occasionally come across enemies that have like 5 artifact, which is very annoying to say the least. As you can see here, these guys, what they do is they take turn attacking and applying a debuff. So first, this guy will attack, these guys will apply debuff, then both these guys will attack, and this guy will apply debuff. You'll see what this debuff is when I end my turn, and it's very annoying. But anyway, for now, you can see I've started off with doubt, which is annoying, because I'm gonna be weakened. I think I might just... I'll do outmaneuver, because then I'll gain 3 energized, gain 3 additional energy next turn. I'll gain 3 of that, and I'll only take 3 damage from this guy, so that's not that bad. And now you see exactly how annoying the debuffs from these guys are. You can see here they've given me, each of them has given me 2 cards called Dazed. Now what Dazed does is that they just clog the fuck up out of your hand. They're unplayable, but they're also ethereal, which means if this card is in your hand at the end of the turn, it is exhausted. As explained earlier, exhausted cards are removed from your deck until the end of combat. That doesn't mean they'll come back into my deck at the end of combat and they'll be there forever. They're only here for the duration of this combat, and then they fuck off into the endless void or whatever. You can see now, you'll be able to see Artifact in motion. There you see, he didn't take any weakness damage, the artifact went down, but because I have Envenom, he got poisoned, and the artifact can help him from that. Yes, Artifact also works, like, if you apply, say, 6 of one debuff, and then 1 of another debuff, it'll counter all of the first debuff, no matter how high the level debuff it is, but it'll still take the second debuff. So if you have a card that, well, whatever, I've basically explained it all. Because I have six energy, I can basically do all of the shite. However, I only have one defense card, so I'm still gonna take like 11 damage. But I'll play this, and I'll just hit this guy, because he's gonna attack next, so if I can get him down... I mean, I'm not gonna be able to, but if I was able to get him down quite a lot in this turn, then I could possibly kill him in the next turn before he ends up attacking. So now these guys are going to attack, they take 3 damage, this guy gives me a bunch of fucking dazed cards, this guy attacks, takes 3 damage, and then of course they swap over again, as I said. And because of noxious fumes, these guys lose their artifact because, because it tries to apply poison, and they ain't having that shit. What I'm gonna do to begin with, I'll play Survivor. Get rid of a strike because it's just boring normal. I'll try and kill the center guy because he has the least health right now. Then I can get rid of him, and he won't be another guy attacking me or adding debuffs. But I'll apply poison to this guy, so as I'm wailing on this guy, he'll slowly take damage, and I'll have less by the time I get to him. So now, what to do? If I do that, I'll only take 3 damage again, and I can use I could take no damage, but I don't really mind the 3 damage. I'll probably just hit this guy. Do I think this is going to take more than 5 more turns? Because if I do, I could take this potion and then slowly regain health. So essentially that would negate the health, the damage I'm about to take, and then keep giving me more and more. I think I will do that actually. So essentially that's given me the regeneration buff, which, as we saw before, 3 HP at the end of my turn for 5 turns. If I took another potion, that would be 10 turns, and etc, etc. So as you can see, the dazed puffs away in a puff of smoke, and it's gone for fucking ever. But now I have 2 more. They go into my discard pile, so they don't go into this pile until all of this pile is gone into the discard pile. Which is okay, I guess, but of course I've got so many. And the fucking doubt to begin with. None of these guys have weakness, which is annoying. I'll apply deadly poison to this guy, because he doesn't have as much poison as the rest of them. And because I have 2 energy, even though I don't have defense anyway, if I did, I wouldn't need to defend against this guy, because he's going to die from the poison. As I explained before, poison happens before they attack or do debuffs. So I'll just hit this guy because he's got less damage, or less health rather. Then we're going to end my turn. I could use this, but I don't want to. I kind of want to save it for the boss, or for a harder elite. Perhaps even for the next floor. Now again, this guy's going to die before he can attack. I could use a survivor to defend against his 8 damage, but I'd have to discard one of my cards, and discarding a dazed means it doesn't like disintegrate this turn. It goes back into my discard pile, which isn't what I want because I've already got a bunch of dazed already. But also I do kind of want to just hit this guy because I don't like him. So I'll just do that, survivor, blah, and then end the turn. So now of course this guy's dead, this guy does 8 damage, takes 3 damage himself, and now he's gonna die next turn, so that's cool. Now I have this, and I can do this, and kill him anyway, so... I did have 2 extra turns of that healing, but... so you can see here, we've got a relic. It's a strawberry. I mean, it's not much of a relic. It's more of a fruit, really. But you can see it'll raise my max HP by 7 when I pick it up, which is very useful because now I have 82, which is 12 more than I started with. So now, of course, like at the end of any good combat, or well, all the combats really, good or bad, I get to choose a card. I've already gotten Venom, of course, so I don't really want another one. We have Predator here, which deals 15 damage and draws 2 more cards next turn, which is useful, but again, I don't like cards which cost 2 to use. And finally, right here, we have Escape Plan, which costs 0. You can draw 1 card. If the card is a skill, you gain 3 block. So essentially, that's 0 cost for a free card, and if the card happens to be a skill, you get 3 extra free block. So it's like that sort of 4 free block, but also you get a card. I think I'll just take this one, yeah. So now we only have 1 choice, go to the enemy. And we have these guys again, except there's 3 of them. And this guy's attacking. So I'll defend. I'll only take 2 of that then. Put Deadly Poison on this one. And I'll hit this one. And he's gonna curl up. But that'll be the end of the curl up for the rest of this battle. He's used Spit on me. He's used Grow, which means he's going to get Strength, and he's just attacked in general, which means I didn't take any damage. Now they're all going to attack, but of course this guy only has 4. That's 8 damage gone. I can use Neutralize on this one, which means that's another 2 damage gone. I can use Heal Hook, that's free. Outmaneuver means I'll get an extra 3 energy next turn, and I can defend from all this guy. So I'm basically going to take 7 damage, which isn't the best, but it's probably the best I could have gotten. So I guess it was the best. Oh well. So now I'll use Survivor, because not only will that defend against all of his attack, it'll get rid of Doubt, which means I'm not going to get another week at the end of this turn. I already have 1 week, I don't need another. Because I have a bunch of energy, I'll use Envenom. I'll strike this guy, and I'll defend, because it's the only thing I can do with my remaining energy. And I'll end the turn. It's snowing a lot recently. It's not really related to the current situation, but whatever. I felt like, you know, making a comment about it because, you know, it was remarkable. Fuck off. So now I'll just use that and end the turn. Nice. You're gonna take a couple damage, he's gonna hit me. And now I can take him out straight away. 13 gold, a block potion, 12 blocks straight up. Very useful. And then I can add a card to my deck. We got Deflect again, we got Crippling Poison, which costs 2, but applies 3 poison and 3 weak. And we've also got Prepared, which basically is free, and you can swap out one of your cards for a new one if the new one that you draw is good. Otherwise you can just put back the one that you drew, or put it into your discard pile rather. Yeah, it's kind of useful, I'll go for that. After the fireplace, I'll smith again because I've got quite a bit of health. I want to upgrade though. This is kind of useful because it draws 2 cards, but again you discard 2 cards as well. This is also useful because it does 3 poison at the start of each damage. Each turn rather. but again so is this, because it deals 5 damage instead of the regular 3. You can also get a relic which does exactly the same thing, except you don't have to bother playing a card. You just always deal 3 damage for each time you get attacked, which is very useful. I think I'll go for the Noxious Fumes, just because I really like them, as well as Caltrops. We have another enemy here. Ah, it's these guys. I'll go for poison on this one. Defend. Because if I've not got anyone weakened, I won't use that. I'll just use Outmaneuver and I'll get a bunch of energy for next turn, and I'll take 1 damage from this guy. He's gonna do a big old ritual on himself, and of course we already know what he does. I use that. That's most of the damage gone. And see, the problem I'm noticing with that outmaneuver card is I don't normally seem to be able to find a way to use all the energy it gives me. So I don't really seem to draw many very good cards when I use that. But anyway, I'll just wail on this guy. Probably shouldn't have done that. Should have used it on that guy, didn't have the lock. Oh well. Blimey, it's getting windy outside. At least it's stopped snowing for the moment. I'll use Neutralize on this guy, now he only does 6 again. Escape plan, and it was a skill, so it's very nice. I can defend again, Venom, and then I can do a big old slammy whammy bammy on that guy. Now he's gonna die. And then I can just concentrate on this guy. Straight up. So now it's gonna do 9. I'll use this. I'll throw away my strike. Defend. Caltrops, and I'll strike. Nice. End of turn. So now I'm going to take 1 damage, he's going to take 3, and he's now going to do 15 damage. So I'll weaken him again. I'll use Heal Hook because he is weakened. I'll apply more poison. Well, didn't really need to die, he's already going to die. So let's do a bunch of this. You'll see if you use Survivor and there's only 1 other card in your hand, it automatically chooses that to discard because it's the only one you can choose, which is mildly useful. It saves time, I guess. All of these are new cards, interesting cards. The first one, Underhanded Strike, unplayable, but if this card is discarded, say using Survivor, from your hand, it deals 7 damage to a random enemy, rather. Not that much damage, but still quite useful, I suppose. Especially seeing as in its unupgraded format still does more than just a strike in its unupgraded format. Backflip, gain 5 block and draw 2 cards, so it's basically a defend, but you get 2 cards as well for free. Of course, if you don't want those 2 cards, then it's not that great, but usually it's okay to have those 2 cards. Dagger Throw, it's like the backpack one, but it also does 9 damage, so I think it's a choice between these 2 at this point. I think I'm just going to go for Dagger Throw, because it does a whole bunch of damage. Finally now we can rest if we want. But I'm fairly confident doing this boss at the health I'm at right now. You'll notice here, there's a very nice little pattern up here. This gives away what the boss is going to be. I think there's 3 different bosses it can be on level 1. One of them is this guy. The next one's a big slimy guy. And the one after that is a weird guy who alternates between defending himself and attacking you and whatever. But anyway, we'll get to that. For now, I'll upgrade. See, when I'm right next to a boss, I like to upgrade the cards that'll do best for that boss and not really think about after that. So of course Caltrops, only good for bosses only good if this boss is planning to do a lot of different hits to me. And actually, if I remember correctly, this boss does actually do that a lot. But I'll look through the rest first. Escape plan, we already know that gains 5 extra block. This does extra damage, this does extra poison. This, extra damage. This, extra cards. So I think I'll go for Caltrops, because then it does 5 damage for each time they attack me. So, on we go. And I think this is the first time we'll see multiple attacks in the same turn. He starts off, you'll notice all the music goes away, it's all mysterious. So of course he's not attacking me, so I have a chance to do powers. Let's see if there's another power that'll come. Nah, just survivor. So poison him, because that'll do multiple turns, and might as well just do 20 damage. And this as well, actually. I won't use the block, obviously, because that's only for 1 turn. Oh my god, it's so scary, and he's gonna do 5 times 6. So it's a shame I didn't get Caltrops to begin with, because then he could take, 3 times 6 damage, which is of course 18 if you know the maths. But you see, yes, he's got a bunch of green flames, and you also see that this icon up here is a massive fucking scythe. So the actual icon up here changes depending on how much damage total it's actually going to do. So if it's even more than that, it's like a double-handed axe. If it's like the least amount of damage, it's a fucking butter knife. So I'm gonna use my block potion straight up. 25 block, so I'm blocking pretty much all of that now. I'll only take 1 damage, so I'll hate him for the rest, and of course, because I've gotten Venom, that poisons him even more. He's gonna take damage. He's gonna do 13. Yeah, yeah. For some reason, the 18 I came up for the Caltrops, I assume that's how much he'd do to me. No, he was gonna do 30 damage to me. I'll neutralize him even though he's not doing that much. Seeing as I don't actually have a defend, but let's see if this gives me defend. Which it doesn't, but it gives me Caltrops, which is useful because I want that. This will actually draw a card as well. Yippee, it's my favourite card. Let's play the rest of my cards and end my turn. He's going to do 4 damage, I'll be down to 40 health. It doesn't really matter if you end the boss with not very much health, because you go back up to full health for the next floor, so it's okay. I'm going to neutralize him again. It's even more weakness. I'm going to use escape plan again. It's a skill, yay. I'm going to use this. So strike. Outmaneuver again. Defend. And strike. 2 extra energy I couldn't use. You'll also notice these green flames are slowly charging back up. And what that means is when he gets back to full greenness, is he's going to do a massive attack again, which is going to do massive damage. Right now he's just blocking though, so I don't need to worry about it. Again, there's also these burn cards which he's giving me. I haven't explained yet, but one of the other things enemies can do is they can attack and apply a debuff at the same time, which is when it's got like a weapon with like swirly greens around it. So if he does that, he's probably going to attack me and give me a burn. And what burns do is at the end of my turn I take 2 damage unless I can discard this beforehand, which I can do, so I'll do that. But of course they just go into my discard pile, but they would do anyway, so no matter. I'll do this, and I'll do this because I have the energy, and I'll end the turn. And he's gonna buff himself, and of course he defended himself, so there's not a huge amount of There's not a huge point in trying to attack because he's got 12 block. But I use that because it gives me extra card. I'll use Deadly Poison and another block so I don't take any damage. And he's going to take 6 damage from the attacking me. Oh no, he's going to take 10 because of course I upgraded Caltrops. I forgot about that. So now he's going to do 14. I can end up discarding this card and... Oh, he's going to die from 31 poison. And of course, we got our victory music for defeating the boss and 97 gold. And we can add a card to our deck. 40 gold in Venom, Doppelganger, next turn draw X cards and gain X energy. Which is only useful if you've, say, used that outmaneuver and you have like 6 energy. But that's only 1 extra card on that turn. It's kind of useless seeming. So I think I'll take Glass Knife, which is deal 8 damage twice. Glass Knife's damage this is lowered by 2 this combat, so it'll do 8 and then the next time you use it in a combat it'll do 6 twice. So yeah, I'll take that. And now we've got the boss chest, which has 3 boss relics, which we can only choose 1 of. So first of all we have the Astrolabe, which upon pickup you can transform 3 of your own cards and then they're automatically upgraded. And what transform does is simple, it just takes one of your cards, you choose one of your cards, and it turns into a different card. If you choose a curse, it'll just turn into another curse, and a regular card will never turn into a curse, I don't think. But it can be of any rarity, so you can take a really unrare card like a Defender Strike, and it can become like a god move. But I don't like the idea of that, because I like all of my cards, really. Here we have the Philosopher's Stone, where you gain energy at the start of each turn, so instead of having 3 at the start of each turn, you have 4. But all enemies start with 7 strength, which of course stays there throughout the entire battle, which is... I don't think I want to deal with that. But finally we have this Lizard's Tail, which when you would die, you heal to 50% of your match XP instead, but it only works once. That's pretty useful, so I'll take that. And off we go to the second floor. Very nice. And of course, as like always, I'll plan out a route. So right away, this way looks interesting. If I go then this way, I'll have to deal with 2 enemies in a row here, but then it's a fireplace straight after. Yeah, looks pretty good. So that was from here. And I have 400 gold basically, so I want to be spending that at the merchant, which is up next. I think I said something about enemies that do 1 damage 5 times in a row, and these were the guys I was talking about. Something that's also kind of funny is if you put weakness on them, they do 0 damage 5 times. So essentially you can do like 25 damage to them without taking any damage to yourself. You'll also notice that these guys have a buff by default, which is called Flight, which reduces attack damage taken by 50%, which is annoying. But it's cancelled if I attack it more than 3 or more times in 1 turn. So if I just hit it, dagger throw, and I don't have any other attacks, but if I did attack him 3 times, then he would be stunned, he wouldn't be able to attack this turn, and then he'd be on the ground. Right now I'll use Noxious Fumes because there's a lot of them. Use this because it's free. For that way. Alright, that defense from everything, and I mean, it didn't really do anything. And now this guy's gonna have strength. And at least I've got Noxious Fumes. So yeah, now he's got 1 strength, and he's gonna do 2 damage 5 times. I can envenom. I can hit this guy. And I can defend. And now I'm gonna take 10 damage from the guy who's got strength. Not the best, but whatevs. This guy's now going to do 12 damage. So I think what I want to do is try and... Because if I can do 3 hits on him, that means these guys will still do 20 damage to me in total. Of course I could weaken this one. He'll only do... now only take 15. And I can do this. And now he's down. So you can see he's on the floor, he's stunned. So he can't do anything. He's gonna die next turn. But now these guys are gonna do 15 damage to me. Which isn't the most helpful thing in the world. Because this guy is weakened, I can hit him for basically free. And he'll die next turn from the poison. Yeah, as it says, it reduces attack damage taken. So that basically means if I hit him with an attack card, it goes down by 50, but poison still does the same amount of damage. I can do this. Oh, great, no, this. I may as well just defend from all this guy's stuff and use an outmaneuver, end the turn. And this guy will die, this guy will die, this guy will not be able to hurt me. Now he's going to do another buff, but by that point he'll already be dead. So I'll just end my turn now. And now he's done for. 16 gold and I can add a card. I'll get Bane. Bane's very useful. Don't know why I haven't got it yet. I usually have that by now. But it does 7 damage and then another 7 damage if they're already poisoned. So taking that straight away. Off to the shop. Got caltrops, which we already have. We can buy a relic here. We have enough money. The pantograph, which at the start of boss combats you can heal 25 HP. Not that useful, but it's okay. Ice cream. Energy is now conserved between turns. Very useful, because and any energy you keep over carries on, of course. Which is good in combination with that outmaneuver card. Lastly, we have the runic dodecahedron. If your HP is full, gain energy at the start of each turn. My health is not full, and it is very rarely full, so I don't think I'm going to take this one. I think I'll just straight up take the ice cream, and it still leaves me with 100 gold to use. Now, do I already have flying kick? I don't see it here, so I don't think I do. So I could get that fairly cheap. Well, I clicked on it by accident, but whatever. I was gonna decide if I wanted to get something else, but whatever. I can still afford other stuff. However, I can also afford the card removal service, which will remove a very annoying card. However, do I want something else? I do want something else. The Sucker Punch. Because once that's upgraded, it applies 7 it's basically a better version of Neutralize. You can apply weak but more damage. Although it does cost more energy. But I think it's kind of worth it. Seeing as by default that's more damage than a strike anyway, and it also does weak. So I think I am going to get that, and not get the card removal service. You may also know, each time you use the card removal service, it goes up by 25 gold. So you can't just keep piling on curses and then be like, oh, it only costs 75 gold to remove, because next time it'll cost 100 gold. And you also can't remove more than 1 card in each shop. So Yeah. Onwards to our next room. As you attempt to sneak past a group of shrouded figures, a naked red-skinned man approaches you. Got any jacks, friend? I got the shakes bad. Please, maybe some coin? He seems delusional, but harmless. Of course I can't actually do anything because I haven't got enough gold and I haven't got jacks. So I'll just ignore him. The addict throws a loud tantrum, screaming and cursing at you. You escape before drawing unwanted attention. So yeah, that was fairly uneventful, but at least it's not an enemy. Next one, got another encounter. A man with an eye patch and a devilish grin casually strides up to you. Hey there, stranger. Interested in some jacks? It'll make you stronger than any training or blessing. You're gonna need it if you're one of those heroes with a death wish. What do you say? Wanna get jaxed? Well, I don't have 100 gold, so I'm just gonna decline. No matter. There's always a next one. The man saunters away. And of course we've got another encounter here, which is a shop, and I've only got 40 gold. But I can get a poison stab. Yay, I like those. Yeah, so off we go. Proceed to a fireplace. I've got more than 50 health, so I won't bother resting. But what I will do is I'll upgrade my Sucker Punch, because now it does 9 damage and 2 weak, which is very worth it for only 1 energy. Now I've got 2 choices here. We can either go this way, which encounters an elite and a chest and blah blah blah, or we can go this way, which doesn't encounter elite, but it does have 2 of these enemies in a row. But overall, I think it's more worth it than the other way, so I think I'll go this way then. Ah, thieves! I hate thieves, because basically what they do is they steal your fucking money. Yeah, each hit steals 15 coins, 15 gold. Good thing is, I only have 15 gold, so it's not that annoying for me. I'll lay down caltrops, I'll defend as much as I can. Still gonna take 7 damage. Take me down to 50, but whatever. If you manage to kill them before... Well, basically, eventually they get tired and they run off. But if you manage to kill them before that, you can get your gold back. But it's not that worth it, seeing as I've only had 15. It's not like I can defend now though, so I may as well attack them as much as I can and take 20 damage. I'll be down to 30 health. And now they're going to try and defend, and once they've defended they'll try and run away. I'll do dagger throw. None of these are weakened, but whatever. I think this guy attacked first, so he has my 15. Oh, should have played that. Didn't know I had 1 energy left. I can't kill him. Oh well, off he goes. I'm out of here. And he runs away in a puff of green smoke. 15 back from that one guy, 18 gold. An ancient potion which gives me artifact, which is useful if something's gonna do a debuff on me. And now I don't have dagger space, so I'll choose that. Deal 4 damage twice to all enemies, which is very useful for lots of enemies. Continue along this way. Ah, a nice little chest. 24 gold and a regal pillow. Heal an additional 15 HP when you rest. Useful seeing as I only have 30 right now. Go for this chest. Another chest. Trade 5 gold and bronze scales. This is what I was talking about before, which automatically gives you 3 thorns. So whenever you take damage, deal 3 damage back. Very useful. Now we've got 2 enemies in a row. I hate this guy. He's malleable, which means on taking attack damage, he gains 3 block. Block gain increases as malleable is triggered, so essentially, you attack him once, he gains 3 block. This goes up to 4. If you then dig into more of his HP, he'll gain 4 block, and then another attack he'll gain 5, another attack he'll gain 6, etc, etc, until the beginning of my turn again, when it resets to 3. Of course, he's gonna do 21 damage, so I think I'm mildly fucked, because I don't have any way to defend. So I'm just going to do Poison Stab, Flying Knee Kick. I'm going to do Caltrop, seeing as he's going to do that. Although I already had the 3. But whatever, now he's going to take 8 each time, which is nice. Ow, you asshole. Right, Defend, of course. Survivor. He doesn't have weakness, which is shit. I think I'm only going to have 1 health left after this, which isn't the best. But of course, he's going to have 10. Oh, and he's not going to attack, which is useful. So I can just slam, bam, and wham him into the ground. And I've got 2 ancient potions. And I'll grab Quick Slash because I haven't got that yet. That's just 8 damage and draw 1 card straight up. Now we're gonna attack an enemy with 1 health. Oh, it's these guys. I hate these guys. I spoke earlier about enemies that have multiple artifact. This is one of them. Spheric Guarding. He doesn't have much health, but he has 40 block and he has Barricade, which means block is not removed at the start of his turn. I'm just gonna attack. Gonna work on this guy to begin with. I should have poisoned him. Oh well. He's gonna do the dazed thing. He's gonna apply more block to himself. And now they're both going to attack. 18 damage. Phase Neutralizer won't actually do anything. I think we're fucked here, boys. I mean, this happens a lot, you know. You die. Kind of the point of this game, that's why it's a roguelike. Oh well, and I'm dead. Oh no, I'm not dead, because of the lizard tail. Yay! I can use Venom. It's very, very good to use Escape Plan. Defend. Oh, and he put Frail on me. Frail, very much like Weak, means you gain 25% less block from cards for 5 turns rather, because he's got 5 Frail on me. You also get Dexterity, which is like the defense form of Strength. You gain +1 extra defense from each card. It's picking up outside, it's getting real snowy. So yeah, onwards. Now we're going to take, what, 12 damage? Yeah. At least we're only dead. Poison Stab, that plays nothing because he's got Artifact, I forgot about that. I'll use this, I can get rid of Doubt. No real point getting Caltrops because regular damage doesn't do much because he's got all the defense. But now I've got Noxious Fumes, that means, well, first time it'll get rid of his artifact, but the second time it'll start doing poison to him. That's not very good. We're still gonna take 14 damage, and now we're down to 5 rather. I know how to math, shut up. Escape Plan. Okay then. Defend. Quick Slash. Draw a card. Fuck you. Doing that also. Oh. I am actually gonna die. Well, once again, we must always accept our death in the end. Devastation. I'm going to need a new map. Yeah, basically these little bits of flavor text sort of evolve the more times you die. So at the start it's like, ah, how could this happen? I'm dead. And then like after you've died 5 times, it's like, ah, not again. So yeah, I like that. It's funny. At the end you get a nice little score counted up. If you haven't already unlocked all the things for that character, it'll go into like a progress bar, and at the end of the bar you'll unlock some stuff, of course. But now we go back to the main menu because we've died and it's all sad and stuff. So we can look at the statistics for that run. It was not a bad run. I mean, I didn't get as far as I'd normally get. I normally get, well, not normally. I normally get to at least like the boss of level 2, and then I usually like to pretend I normally get to at least the start of level 3, even though I've only gotten there about 4 times. Although on the 4th time, I did actually manage to get all the way to the boss. But anyway, you can see all the cards we got here on the run, you can see all the ranks we got, you can see the score we got, you can see how far we got, see the character we were, etc, etc. But yeah, that's, for now, that's pretty much the game as it is. Probably should have mentioned earlier, it is in early access, so there's more stuff to come. The patch notes are here, there's a whole bunch of stuff, so probably won't go through that. But yeah, that's the game so far. I might do a run of this character, the Ironclad, because he's the character you get to begin with, and then you unlock this one basically straight away. But yeah, this guy's interesting because he's got sort of a slightly different playstyle. I'm not really used to him. I don't really like using him anymore because I'm used to this one. But anyway, I might do a playthrough of that guy on the channel. I don't know. Depends how I feel. But anyway, for now, that's the end of it. I hope you had a nice time. And I guess I'll see you in a different video. Bye bye.